So, you've just unboxed a powerful new piece of network hardware. It's sitting there, gleaming, promising to defend your entire digital world. But in these very first few moments, it's actually at its most vulnerable. So let's lock this thing down and turn that box into the guardian it's meant to be. The best way to think about this device, it's a brand new, state-of-the-art digital fortress. I mean, it's got all the tools, the high walls, the reinforced gates, everything it needs to protect what's inside. And its whole job, really, is to stand between your valuable data and a very chaotic and, let's be honest, often hostile digital world. But all that power, all that potential, it's completely, utterly useless if you leave the key right under the doormat. And that, right there, is exactly the state of any new firewall fresh out of the box. Which brings us to our absolute #1 priority. Before you do anything else, before you even think about connecting it to the wider network or building security policies, you have got to secure the admin keys. This is totally non-negotiable.
The problem, and it's almost funny how simple it is that every single one of these devices leaves the factory with the exact same default IP address and the exact same login, admin/admin. These aren't secrets, right? They're public knowledge, which makes them the very first thing any attacker is going to try.
So the process is really straightforward. First, you'll connect your computer directly to the dedicated management, or MGT port. Then you'll browse to that default IP, log in with those default credentials, and then, and this is the most important part, you change them. Not later, not after lunch, immediately. And as you can see, the interface practically holds your hand and takes you right to it. You just select the default admin user, pop in the old password, and create a new, strong one. This single action is what slams the fortress door shut and throws the deadbolt. Now, the system itself is going to enforce some basic rules, a mix of character types and a minimum length. But remember, that's just the bare minimum. You should always follow best practices to create a truly strong, unique password for the keys to your kingdom. All right, the main gate is secure. Awesome. But what happens if there's a problem on the inside? What if the main network goes down and you suddenly get locked out of your own fortress? Well, you're going to need a secret escape route, a lifeline. This is where out-of-band management, or OOB, comes in. It's a completely separate network, totally isolated from your regular data traffic, and it's used only for managing critical devices, like your firewall. It is your emergency hatch for when all other channels are down, making sure you're never locked out of your own command center. And the difference between these two ways of getting in is, well, it's night and day. Your primary access is part of the main network, so if the network goes down, so does your access. It's also vulnerable to the same attacks. Your OOB lifeline, though, it uses a dedicated, isolated channel. And ideally, it should even be on a separate power source. Why? So a single power failure can't take out both your network and your ability to fix it. This pretty much guarantees you have access no matter what's going on. Okay, so our fortress is secure. And we have our secret entrance all planned out. Now it's time to actually put it on the map so it can talk to the rest of our management network. It needs a proper address. So right here, in a management interface settings, this is where you give the firewall its identity. You'll swap out that default 192.168.1.1 with a static IP that actually fits your network scheme, along with the right netmask and default gateway. This is how all your other management tools are going to find it and talk to it. And this right here, this is a crucial point that is so easy to overlook. A firewall can't just magically find things on the internet, like update servers or license servers. If you don't configure a DNS server, it's basically blind to the outside world. It has no idea how to resolve any names to IP addresses. So on this services screen, you set up two absolutely vital things. First, the DNS servers we just talked about, and second, NTP, the Network Time Protocol. Why is NTP so important? Well, in the world of security, time is literally everything. If you're investigating an incident, trying to piece together what happened from a bunch of logs, having timestamps that are off by even a few seconds can make it nearly impossible to get a clear picture. Accurate time is a must-have for any meaningful security analysis. And with those final settings committed, that's it. The initial transformation is complete. Our generic box is now a true firewall, officially ready for duty. So think about what we just did. In just a handful of minutes, we've taken a device from its most vulnerable state, a generic box with a password that everyone knows, and we've turned it into a hardened, identifiable, and securely accessible guardian for our network. We've locked the doors and we've configured its place on the network. the Guardian is at its post. But you know, the real work is just getting started. The next and most important question is, what are the rules? Who and what is allowed to get in or out?